afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, June the 19th today, and after another week of below average temperatures and scattered rain events throughout the area, we are seeing a lot of fields that are exhibiting signs of stress due to waterlogged soils. A well-granulated soil will contain between 40 and 50% of its volume made up of macro and micropores. So that's the space between the actual soil particles, which at field capacity is going to be filled roughly equally between water and air. However, with standing water in a lot of those fields, all of that air will be replaced by water within about 24 hours. At that point, there's going to be no oxygen in that root zone, which the plant needs. That oxygen is critical for plant respiration, the transportation of nutrients, root growth, and growth of the plants at the growing point as well. As a result, we're seeing a lot of yellowing as well as stunted plants regardless of what crop we're looking at, especially in those lower lying areas of the fields. What's critical for those plants is that the growing point is still alive. So if we open them up and we see a firm white or cream colored growing point, those plants will likely pull through moving forward. However, if that growing point starts to turn a brownish color and have a soft consistency, those plants likely won't recover. Another thing that we're seeing, especially in our corn, is some phosphorus deficiency symptoms. So that's a purpling of the plant. And that means that the plant itself is still photosynthesizing, it's creating those sugars, but not able to relocate them within the plant itself. So we're seeing that those sugars will build up as a pigment that's usually a purple or reddish color. But moving forward, if we get some sunnier weather and some warmer soils again, those plants will pull out of that without a major concern. For a corn crop like this, in those low areas that remain yellow for a week or two, we're probably going to see about a 10 to 15% yield reduction moving forward. With the cool, cloudy conditions that we've had, that's going to be an excellent situation for fungal infections in those plants. So the faster we can get back to active growth and outgrow some of those infections, the better off we'll be. The last thing to really take note of with some of those stunted plants is that we have to be very careful staging them for a final herbicide application, because even though they may be short, they can very quickly get to that V8 stage, at which point we shouldn't be spraying them with a lot of those herbicides that we're using in corn. So keep that in mind as well once that weather improves and we go out and do some spraying. Among the oilseeds, canola is going to be the least tolerant to flooded field conditions. Those are the smallest seeds, the smallest seedlings, and they're easily affected by fungal diseases early on in the season. Then come sunflowers, and finally soybeans. They're going to be the most tolerant to standing water in those fields. We have some great stands out there, and in fact, with some of that recent moisture, we've been able to fill in some of those areas where there's some emergence issues due to either compaction or just bad planting conditions. So overall, we're off to a great start. Right here, I'm standing between some P008 Z25E soybeans and the brand new P00 Z19Es. So this is going to be a full season plant, and we're really excited to see what it does this year. Again, all of the Pioneer soybeans are going to be on that Enlist E3 platform, so we can use a combination of glyphosate, 2,4-D choline, or Liberty 200SN. So depending on the weather conditions that we're having at spraying time, as well as what sort of weed spectrum we have in the fields, will help us make those decisions. There's still a great opportunity in terms of application windows, because 2,4-D as well as the glyphosate can be used up to full flower, whereas the Liberty 200SN product should be wrapped up by early flower. Again, we still have some time, so if you need some help evaluating those fields, please let us know. A final note for this week's video is that there are still some forage stands that are getting a little tall and leggy at this point. There's a lot of volume out there, and in some isolated fields we're seeing quite a bit of alfalfa weevil larvae that are affecting those stands. So if you do have some questionable issues and want to use some high quality inoculant, we have the best products on the market. Please let us know if you need some. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Once again, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.